pivot in 3, 2, 1.
The theme of the Focusrite Conference 2012 relates to the extraordinary changes that have gripped the travel, tourism and hospitality industry in 2012. Pivot or not pivot? That is the question. It is now the time for companies to assess their internal skills, to assess their knowledge, and to assess what their customer want. It's time for companies across the globe within the travel sector to understand if they should only do a simple tweak, they should consider a major shift, or they should consider a pivot, and what type of pivot. It's really the time today to take a cold look in the mirror and to look at what your customer wants, what is available on the market, and what you provide. I'm Florence Cassi. I'm Director of Sales for Europe at Focusrite. I'm based in London, and I'm also a European market specialist. My colleague, Kees Bosla, is our Director of US Sales and our DMO's specialist. Travel is our world. Focusrite is the leading research authority in the travel space. We focus exclusively on travel, and we watch trends, innovations, technology disrupting the distribution of the travel product. We watch consumers, how they behave, how they connect to the intermediaries. We watch markets. We watch everything related to your business, and we deliver our findings every year during our conference. Our analysts are based around the globe and watch those trends every day.
So let's start with some global insight of the travel industry. After that, we would like to go in depth into 6 technology trends. So let's start with this graph, which is very insightful. What you see here is a number of circles. Every circle represents a country, and this is about the size of the online travel market. 3 things are important in this particular graph. The size of the circle. The larger the size, obviously, the larger the online travel market. That's number 1. Number 2, if a circle is high in the table, that means they have a high penetration of online travel. So obviously, when you're lower in the circle, like for example at China, then the online part of the total travel market is still in its infant stages. If you to the right in the graph, that means that there's still a lot of growth in the online travel bookings. If you're on the left, it means that you don't have a lot of growth anymore because you have grown in the past few years. So on the left you see quite some large and colorful circles, among others the US, which is of course a very large market, a very large online market, and it's also about 40% or so of total bookings. So therefore it's very high up. And also to the left, the biggest growth is not there anymore. So we call those countries France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Scandinavia. We call them established markets. The next one are those countries that are ambitious. I mean, there's some growth. There's still room to growth. There's some opportunities there. For example, Mexico, Singapore, India, Brazil. China, of course, has an amazing opportunity to grow. Yeah, so it's still relatively a small circle because the online part of the total market is still relatively low. And the last series of countries are Russia, Peru, Argentina, Colombia, that are evolving. So they're growing very fast. They're still pretty small, but they're growing very fast. The next, and by the way, we update this graph on an almost, well, not daily basis, a monthly basis. So it's always good to keep this in mind, and to get the overall view of what's happening in the world when it comes to online travel. Another way to look at it is to look at it by region. So here you have the percentage of online bookings for Europe, the blue line, red, the US, and then Asia Pacific, Eastern Europe, and Latin America. And what you see is that Europe and the US are both at 40% of the total travel market. You see also that Asia, and their growth is basically, there's still growth, but it's kind of flat. Whereas you see that Asia Pacific, Eastern Europe and Latin America are still growing very fast. So there's a lot of opportunity there because the online market is growing so fast. Also, you can notice that if a region or a country reaches 35% of online travel, yeah, then the line starts to flatten out, yeah. And currently there seems to be a ceiling of 40%. That will not mean that 10 years from now it's still 40%, but 40% seems to be the ceiling of the online part of the total travel market. Yeah. You also see that we expect that in 2013 that Europe will even, that's the blue line, that Europe will have even a larger penetration of online travel than the US. So let's take a look at that 35% that I mentioned. Yeah. So all the countries, here you have about 25 countries, all the countries that are below 35%, that will show the highest growth in online travel. So for example, China, Russia, Brazil, Italy, Greece, Argentina, those are the countries that still have the highest growth in front of them. So that's where the most opportunities are. Finally, when we talk about that global picture, here you see for European, most of us most likely operate in a European market. Here you see the actual bookings, gross bookings in billions of euros. The red is are the bookings, online bookings on supplier websites. The green online bookings via OTAs, online travel agencies, like the Travelocities, Expedia's, Booking.com. If you add that together, you have the total online market. And in the blue, you see the total gross bookings. So go all the way to the right, please, and you see the growth percentages. So that's the growth of the total market. So from top to bottom, you see 5%. That was the growth in 2010 of the total market. 4%, 5% and 4%. So that's the annual growth, has been the annual growth of the total market. Go a little bit to the left, in the blue box, you see the percentages 17%, 13%, 10 and 8%. That's the growth of the online part. So you can see that in 2010 and 2011, that the online part, the growth, was 3 times larger than the growth of the total market. But you also see it in 2012, and we expect for 2013 that the online growth will be about twice the growth of the total market. In about 2-3 weeks, we will publish, Focusrite will publish again our annual European online travel overview. That is a highly anticipated report that we publish every year. And there we will make a forecast for 2013 and beyond. So there we will see what we expect will be the growth of the total market and the online market. So unfortunately we don't have those numbers yet, again 3 weeks from now. And it will show you if we believe that there will be, if you're going to go for the brake pedal or the gas pedal. And what I've heard is we will go for the gas pedal. We believe there will be growth in next year and beyond, but that the growth will be kind of limited. That was something I wanted to share with you in terms of the global market. Right now we would like to take a deep dive in 6 important travel technology trends. And I would like to ask Florence to take it from here.
So first of all, most travel professionals here will agree that we haven't really seen a monumental change within the travel industry for a long time. The process flow, the core process flow really from suppliers to GDSs to point of sales has really favored the OTAs, meta search and other technology fueled changes over the past few years. Today, really, the technological changes have caused really a chaos. And in 2012, we've been waiting for the next big thing. There hasn't been a next big thing, and there won't be in 2013. What we predict, obviously, is that the large number of cuts that have been favored by those technological changes and startup arriving on the market are progressively basically favoring a major but gradual change and shift of the whole travel distribution system. So really, 2012 has been a pivotal year, and so will be 2013. First of all, the emergence of new merchandising models, social commerce, which has become an institution, fragmentation of the content, communication, which becomes much more global, mobile, which empowers the leisure and the business travelers, all are reshaping the distribution dogma. So now the executives of the industry should really ask themselves these questions. How do you want to move forward? Do you just want to milk the cash cow? Do you want to embrace future? Do you want to pivot and embrace new technologies? So we'll be looking at the 6 major trends. Now, this presentation presents the key findings of a white paper that we have delivered with World Travel Market for this particular event. This white paper will be available on request on our booth after this presentation. The booth is TT429. So we will present 6 of those trends that we have analyzed part of this white paper. First of all, social media marketing, mobile conversions, big data, semantic technology, technology-enabled service delivery, and travel companies that we see now as living laboratories. Trend number 1, social marketing is the cornerstone of marketing strategy. Why? First of all, because of this incredible reach. Facebook today, 1.1 billion users, half of them connected daily. Second, viral nature. We're all looking for consumers, influencers, the brand advocates who repropagate marketing messages. That's who we want to target ultimately. Number 3, social indexing, which is one step beyond personalization. The emergence of the social web has given a greater role to the voice of the traveler. Yes, it has developed a very new, powerful source within online travel, and that is the traveler. The traveler is empowered now and has completely new way of communicating. And you must embrace not only this is a trend, because it's not a trend, it's the request of your travelers. Today, social media is still very hard to measure. It's extremely challenging for companies, and especially within the travel space, to measure the return on investment. But it's never been clearer that the link between social media and ultimately your branding, your customer service, and finally the rise of your transactions are linked. So what about now? What about the future? First of all, here you can see that while the web is shrinking, social media is exploding. What you can see is that between all the Facebook users, 700 billion minutes are spent per month on social media. So what about the future? What really needs to happen now is for those travel companies to embrace social media marketing. Now we're finally able to size those opportunities that social has to offer. Metrics and measurers are just emerging. So it's really up to the executives within all those companies to measure the ROI, and even if it's still challenging today, to measure the tolerance of this lack of ROI. Social brings inspiration and discovery. Today, travelers post reviews on traveler review websites, but they post reviews even more on OTAs. Actually, 7 travel reviews out of 10 are posted on OTAs. Traveler reviews as well are much more familiar on those sites, social media sites, because ultimately marketing messages, photos, traveler reviews are definitely not what counts the most for the traveler. What counts the most for the traveler is hearing from the other travelers. So if we look at Europe a bit more specifically, while 77% of British and German connect daily to social media, 73% of French, and we can also observe, obviously, that social media use is categorized depending on the age group. But again, it's not just a tool for the youngest population. So this particular graph is extracted from our European Consumer Survey, where we watch European consumer behaviors within the online travel space. Social obviously brings social connection. So really today, you shouldn't think filtering results. You should think reviews, you should think marketing, you should think customer service, you should think photo, because ultimately, when you filter results, you shouldn't follow your logic. You should follow the traveler's logic. And Airbnb is a great example of filtering information and displaying information to the traveler with his own logic. Deals and promotions, obviously. Social media offers a great platform to advertise deals. Ultimately, booking and transactions. Customer service. Social media platforms are an amazing way today to get closer to the consumer. How many reviews do we see on Facebook of hotels, of airlines, service that have not even been responded? Social media offers you the opportunity to get one step closer to your traveler with a limited cost. It offers you the opportunity to answer in a timely manner any critiques regarding your product, your company, or your services, and actually rectify any wrong comment too. Social media, it's obviously also about PR and experimentation. And KLM is a great example of a company who has adopted social media in the early days and who has generated a lot of new opportunities for the group and changing dramatically their image within the travel industry. So here are some examples of companies that are already a strong positioning within the social media space and help travel companies to position themselves within the social media environment. Platlas represents capabilities of the leading social networking platform. Carnival, it's a great example of a company who has partnered with a technological company, Buddy Media, to offer to the first cruise travelers the opportunity to interact very closely, not only with the cruise travelers, but also with the crew members on the ship. So really, social must not be considered on its own. First of all, let me remind you again that Facebook is 1.1 billion users today. Half of the travelers worldwide, 75% of them reside outside of the US, so that's not a US thing, and 45% of them connect through their mobile. Mobile and social are the perfect marriage together.
So let's talk about trend number 2, and that deals with mobile. Now, I hope that we all agree that mobile itself is, of course, not a trend. That would be the same as saying in the late 1990s that the internet is just a trend. So it's much more than that. But within mobile, there are many trends. One of them is the capabilities of the mobile platform converge, get together, and users achieve true mobile empowerment. So what do we mean by that? So the travelers are engaging in apps based on function, not supplier. I get back to that in a minute. Also, the traveler just wants to touch an icon. For example, an icon to unlock a hotel room door. So let's go a little bit deeper here. Let's first take a look at the apps. Currently, there are 500,000 apps available for the iPhone, and Apple users are downloading apps at a rate of 350 per second. That's amazing. Of course, that's worldwide. Android is a little bit behind in terms of apps, but currently 370,000. And the apps are being added to the Android platform at a rate of 12,000 to 35,000 per month. 35% of US adults have apps, 24% actually use the app, 68% use 5 or fewer each week. And it seems that the apps are kind of running out of gas. And it really deals with what the consumer wants. I said at the previous slide that users want to have functionality, not branded apps. What do we mean by that? Now, for example, if you want to check into a hotel, you would like to have one app that covers all hotels. So you don't want to have a Marriott app, a Hilton app, or a British Airways app, and a Virgin app. And every time when you want to book a flight or want to search on a flight, you have to actually go to the branded apps. You really would like to have, let's call it a horizontal app, yeah? When it comes to a hotel room, that all hotels are covered in particular app. And the same counts for car rental. You want to have an app that access any car rental, change any flight reservation. For loyal travelers or loyal business travelers, maybe a Marriott app is still very valid, because if you stay all the time at Marriott's, then that's okay. But a lot of leisure travelers don't have that not many of us have that loyalty anymore, and you really would like to search the entire spectrum of hotels, so cruise lines and car rentals. Yeah. Secondly, a mobile phone has so many built-in technology and possibilities. So they the way that the apps talk to your phone, yeah, that will improve. That needs to improve, and it will improve. Yeah. So it will allow your phone to handle the underlying complexity. Next one is there will be more contextual awareness and filters going forward. And last but not least, something that we all agree on, that network performance here in Europe or in the US or anywhere in the world really has to improve, because that's clearly something that is holding back the performance of your phone and the way you use your phone and the applications that you use. Once again, mobile is so relevant. Focusrite has said for many years that mobile will be as disruptive, and we believe in a good way, will be as disruptive and impactful as the internet was in the late 1990s. We have only seen the beginning of the mobile revolution. One of the things that is great but also challenging about mobile is that if you look at the entire cycle, the leisure travel cycle, where you start with your dream and then you plan your travel, you book, and then actually you go to a destination and you share upon your return. Mobile plays a role in every of those phases. In your dream phase, yeah, you use your mobile. If you research what destination you would like to go to, currently 13% of users are actually using their mobile device in the research phase of where they go. Yeah? And that's only growing. Yeah? You book your travel, you can book your travel with mobile, and the bookings are growing, especially when it comes to tablets. The tablet seems to be, we see that a lot of people use the tablet for the actual booking. When it comes to Explore, that might be not the tablet but your mobile, because it's just smaller and goes in your pocket. Yeah? But there are lots of opportunities, as we all know, and applications that when you are in the destination, in terms of mapping, in terms of what's to do in this town, where's the restaurants, where are the hotels, and the sharing, of course. So a lot of people say, yeah, what's the most important part of mobile? Is that marketing? Is that distribution? Is that customer service? And I think that more and more it becomes clear that mobile is really a combination of those three principles. You cannot say mobile is really the perfect tool for customer service. Yeah? And especially when mobile marketing, when we become better in our mobile marketing, and gets more personalized and relevant, yeah, the line between marketing messages and customer service will blur. They're really starting to overlap. Finally, mobile provides a unique platform for more direct distribution. Yeah. So mobile travel is all about that combination of location, context, and relevance. the businessman, he said, how do I get to my business meeting from here? Or where's a good restaurant for a business meeting within walking distance? Or a leisure traveler, how do I get to my hotel from here? What attractions are near my hotel? So you have the combination of location, context and relevance, and that's the sweet spot of mobile. The tablet revolution started in, I would say, 2010, when the first, or 2010, when the first iPad became available, and that really opened up the tablet market. We thought that the tablet revolution would happen in 2011. We might have been a little too quick, because we believe this year, 2012, there more tablets are coming on the market. Some failed miserably, but there are some tablets that are now also getting some traction. It's not only the iPad anymore. And tablet sales will reach 250 million in 2015, with the largest growth in Europe and APAC. So I had that slide that talked about the different phases in a leisure travel cycle. And what we think is that the OTAs, online travel agencies, like Booking.com, etc., must extend their services beyond just the booking part to cover the entire trip cycle. That's something that you will see, that we believe you will see going forward. Airlines, more direct distribution and continuous customer engagement. Yeah? Then there are, of course, the last minute bookings for hoteliers. That's one of the fastest growing booking segments for hotels, as we learned. And finally, tourism organizations, be it a country or a city, need to focus on capturing the extended planning cycle enabled by mobile technology. And tourism organizations not always are the first in line when it comes to innovation, but you will clearly see that more and more tourism organizations will step on the train and get more out of mobile. Finally, corporate travel managers, they have to implement a complete mobile strategy. Augmented reality, that started, I would say, about 2-3 years ago, and last year got some momentum. You will see a lot of new developments in that area, and it will get better, will be more user-friendly. Yeah? You definitely will see more mobile possibilities that are being offered by hotels or restaurants, especially for hotels, for last-minute bookings. Last but not least, two examples when it comes to mobile, to this part of the second trend. One, you will see more and more intelligent assistants, like you currently have for the iPhone with Siri, and Google is working on, or has currently, a new one, and it seems to be going to be very challenging to see how that's going to develop. But Apple is the first, and I think that we all agree that Siri right now it's kind of a for 50% a toy, and it's fun to play with it, but it will only get better, and I give Apple a lot of credit for what they've created. And last but not least, another example is Apple's new iPhone Passbook app. If you haven't heard of that, please check it out. It's an amazing thing. It's where I said that horizontal app. Yeah. So here, for example, you can get an airline boarding pass on any airline, and not just your British Airways when you use the British Airways app. Yeah. And lots more possibilities with the iPhone Passbook. Check that out.
By definition, cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient and on-demand access to a shared pool of computing services. So really today, those are the areas where big data can be applied for the travel distribution arena. Real-time transparency of operational data, display of relevant content, so that's really based, for example, on the stage of the trip, on the location of the device, on a psychographic profile of the travelers. You're also looking at leveraging location-based services, learn from behaviors to define the next generation of your travel product, support business decision with better information, enable living laboratory, real-time operational traveler support services, operations management. Cloud computing obviously improves dramatically operations within a travel company, and disintermediation. And it's really about big data setting up process to get much faster. Today, it's very hard to read any information, any documentation related to computing services without reading about cloud computing and big data. So those are really all the areas that you should consider and how you could utilize big data when it comes to travel distribution. So what about now and the future? Well, all those are technologies that really are enabling those new capabilities. Now, what needs to happen? Well, it's really for travel companies to stop waiting for the GDSs to bring big data, new computing tools, and cloud computing to them. GDSs obviously remain competitive. They invest a lot in their technology to bring this type of solution to the travel suppliers. But today, travel executives should really consider all those technology companies that have emerged on the market and that can bring solution for little or no capital. Also, it's a way to define best use for big data and extract the greatest business value. Today, big data, cloud computing are really about creating a new business value for travel companies. In regards to some examples, you can look at Hopper, a Canadian company who has developed a website about consumer discovery. You can also look at Travel Cloud. The Travel Cloud is a platform basically of big data, which can enable also to develop and change the way you distribute your travel product today. You can also look at another example, which is not listed here, which is Orbitz, which obviously Orbitz generates a huge amount of data, and they've been looking at cloud computing and big data, and they've partnered with some companies to enable their site to display the hotels that they want to select at the top of the list according to the behaviors of their own consumer. Oracle is also another example when it comes to big data and cloud computing, which helps the airlines industry today.
Yeah. So trend number 4 deals with semantic technology. Now, and I think that a lot of us here in the audience are marketing people, salespeople, etc. So if you hear semantic technology, we get a little bit nervous, and maybe you're afraid that that the next 5 minutes are going to be boring. Maybe that's true, but it's also very, very important to really understand what semantic technology is, and what it means and what for impact it will have on marketers, travel marketers. So finally, semantic technology becomes relevant in the travel value chain. I mean, it's out there. A lot of semantic technology is already out there. Right now, it's becoming relevant in the travel industry, and we believe it's the next big round of innovations. And in the travel industry, it's largely unexplored, but we think that we are at a turnaround point. So semantic technology really deals with, you give a machine, a device, you give them unstructured information, like I would like to stay in a nice hotel in the center of London with a gym. That's pretty unstructured information, yeah. And semantic technology looks at it and is possible to make something out of that by using intelligence, by using databases, etc. Yeah. Siri is a good example actually of semantic technology. So why is it important, and where would we see growth? For example, when it comes to reputation management deals with how, for example, a hotel is dealing with user reviews. As we all know, the TripAdvisors of this world, or OTAs, have millions and millions of user reviews. If a hotel chain would like to know how is that particular hotel in the center of London, how is that being perceived by users? Previously it was very hard, because people would say this hotel is great, or it's very clean, or it's way too far from the center. Unstructured data, and it's hard to make conclusions out of this. But thanks to semantic technology, now a hotel chain, thanks to sophisticated technology application, can actually go through all the user reviews and come to the conclusion that the rooms of the, I'm making this up of course, the rooms of the Hilton in the center of London are too small, or the lighting is not good enough, or the gym is not clean, but the restaurant is great and the bartender is the best in the world. Yeah, so so you can manage your reputation. Also, the user interface, how you interact with your mobile device. We will see improvement in that area. Intelligent assistance, we saw Siri already, where you can say where is the next, where's a Chinese restaurant close by. Shopping, customer service, and more. But what needs to happen? Well, there's a lot of science behind semantic technology, and that's still growing. But travel companies really need to embrace it, put their arms around it, understand it, and convert the science into a business value. I mean, the technology is out there. But now the next step. How, if I'm a hotel or a tour operator or a travel agent, how do I use this and bring it into my business offering? So you have to evaluate the opportunities and every time experiment to see what works. And it's trying again. Now and then you have a fail, and you get up and you just try again. Let's look at two or three examples. One is Eva, the expert virtual agent. It's a booking tool. And as you can see, I cannot see it right now. The question was, I want to go from Chicago to Dallas tomorrow. And then Eva will just find out all the flights tomorrow. Yeah, so you don't have to click on Chicago or click etc. You just give unstructured information, and that exists. Another one is Eva's budget. Usually, if you book your trip, first you book your air, and then your hotel, and the third one is your rental-car. And Eva's budget has created this application that when a customer would like to book their car, they look what did that customer before, and they can see then that, for example, in a hotel, that a client booked 2 rooms for 6 people. At that moment, you don't have to offer a compact car anymore. If it's a 5-star, Avis can see what kind of hotel, and if it's a 5-star hotel or a suite in that 5-star hotel, you don't have to offer a little Ford. You really have to come up with a Cadillac or a Buick, etc. Yeah? So you can learn from what's already in there. And that was trend number 4. Trend number 5.
Trend number 5. Travelers enjoy technology-enabled service delivery. While most of travelers here would agree, and I'm sure especially the frequent travelers, that the lack of coordination between the different parts of your journey is really annoying. While today, technology over the past few months has brought some solutions to the market to enable the traveler to become much more independent and to link all the different parts of their travel journey. Everything gets much better. The stay and the wait at the airport, the in-flight experience, the flight delays, the rebooking, ground transportation, hotel check-in and check-out. All those processes are much more simplified, and all those enabled by technology providers. So what about now and future? Well, today, service delivery for all those services is super fragmented. The full trip data available via the current PNR or triplet. Each trip component dealt with individually. So there must be much more coordination around each component to enable this traveler, and especially the frequent traveler, to be much more in charge of his rebooking process, delays, weather, any component related to his business or leisure travel. Today and tomorrow, what those technologies companies are working on is really to get the fragmentation of this content drawn together. Social media marketing, again, should be used by airport merchants and all those different suppliers to enable travelers to support those groups. Every traveler now has a mobile device and so can be able to participate actively in the in-transit services. Business intelligence also needs to support all these activities, and that must be the case for most travel companies today. Big data, cloud computing, that we've just reviewed earlier, are also one of the solutions that must be considered by all travel executives of this world. So in terms of example, well, we can look at Bluelon, which is a company which offers today a platform to enable the client to analyze and basically identify the queue at the airport so that you can avoid the biggest traffic and the queues and the long wait inside of the airports. British Airways is also a great example in the UK. They've given to their crew for the long-haul flights iPads, which are loaded with travelers' basically informations, so that enables the crew, enables their staff to give a much better service and a much personalized service during the flights. So within the iPad is already loaded the information of all their travelers. Trend number 6.
Trend number 6, and is also the last trend, is deals with to meet the expectations of the modern consumer. And today's travel companies are living laboratories. What do we mean by that? So, if you look at yourself, and if you look at travelers around the country, they're getting more and more. They're very involved, but are very demanding. What they expect from the mobile, from that little thing, basically, is amazing. And it doesn't stop. You want more and more and more. So the consumer is really demanding, and travel companies have to answer that. They have to provide the technology and the applications that the consumer is demanding. That's not always easy, but companies just have to try again and come up with a new service, and they have to learn. They have to learn what's the consumer, what they want. They have to deliver a service and learn how does it work. Is this going to be a big success, or if it's going to be a failure? So companies have to be relentless in learning. They have to develop flexible technology platforms, data-driven decision making, endless experimentation and testing. That's what we mean with the laboratories. And maybe the most important one, ever adapting business management culture, because a company has to be open, and senior management has to be open to try new out stuff and not always say what's the ROI, because very often if a senior manager, a director says what's the ROI, that means I really have no clue what you're talking about, and I don't know what you mean, and I have a problem therefore with the investment. Within our company, we call that the ROE stats. So the business culture has to be open for innovation, risk-taking, and trying again to come up with the next mobile application. So what's happening today? So today's new consumers are willing advocates. They look for more purposeful engagement with each other and with brands. They want more special offers and recognition. And they desire engaging online experiences. Those 4 things is what the consumers want. So what needs to happen? So travel companies should improve the customer experience. I always like to use Amazon as an example, although that is not a travel brand, but I think that what Amazon has been doing and is still doing is an amazing customer experience. Deliver relevant information, engage the customer at several levels. Travel companies have to embrace new channels, not being afraid for a channel, or not saying, okay, that channel we're not really going to use. No, they have to embrace new channels, provide consistency and quality service. They have to integrate online, offline, and social. They have to offer real-time, event-based marketing messages and offers. Establish and retain customer loyalty. have an effective business information program, and brand globally with local focus. I mean, that's quite a list, but it's very relevant to do this, to answer the increasing needs of consumers when it comes to technology and to mobile. Let me give you a few, 3 examples. So Gatwick has launched quite some time ago an department with fully staffed with people 24/7, and if you're walking at Gatwick Airport and you want to know which gates do you have to be, where are the men's rooms, or where can I get tax-free shopping, you can tweet it, and immediately, real time, you get a tweet back. Yeah? It has been a big success. And so that's something where they say, okay, let's try this method, and it worked for Gatwick. Another example, Choice is emerging with the Foursquare application, and if you check in on Foursquare at a Choice hotel, yeah, you receive 1,000 Choice privileges membership points that are valid over 6,000 Choice hotel locations. Yeah, that happens all via Foursquare. Last example is KLM. I like this example a lot. That when you are choosing your seat, you've booked your ticket, and you would like to book your seat, then you actually can check out who else on that KLM plane is on there. And you could say, well, I would like to sit next to somebody that's interesting, or somebody's not interesting at all because I don't want to talk, so I'd rather sit next to a not so interesting person. Or you could say I would like to sit next to a cute man or a woman. It's a little freaky, but right, it's a little freaky, but it seems to be working. They haven't cancelled it yet. So again, they're just trying, and that's the key here. They're just trying every time to find new combinations, new offerings for customers, and then they learn: is this working? Yes or no? And if it doesn't work, you scrap it and you just go on with the next application. Those were the 6 trends that we wanted to share with you. We would say there are exciting times for the travel industry, a little challenging because technology, again, especially if you're a marketer or salesperson, technology is not necessarily in your DNA, but it's time to embrace technology to be successful in the going forward in the travel industry. So they are exciting times. I would like to ask Florence to make some final statements.
Yes. So, as I said in the beginning, this presentation is an extract of the findings of the white paper that we have delivered for World Travel Market, which highlights the 2013 technological trends that we strongly believe are going to shake the industry and are going to disrupt the distribution dogma. So if you'd like to get hold of a copy of that white paper, as I said earlier, you can come and visit us on our booth today or tomorrow. And we'll give you a copy of that report that also includes further trends that we didn't have time to cover today, but that you will find in the research. Lastly, here are our contact details. We'll be here to take any questions. You can come and see us at the booth just after this presentation as well to have a chat, simply ask questions or whatever you have to say. So we'll welcome you anytime today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.